Welcome back to the channel. So today I've got another 2023 X7. This one is in Skyscraper Grey. It's also the xDrive40i, so basically the base model of the newly refreshed LCI Lifecycle Impulse, the X7. It's the G07 chassis. And it's quite different, especially that front fascia. So this is the regular, I guess, luxury line. It's not the M Sport line. So this is what the lines look like on the refreshed X7. So this is powered by the B58. I think they've upped the horsepower to, I think it's like 375 horsepower and probably 369 pound-feet of torque, but I'll drop the correct information just below. So we got our driving assistance professional package. See the sensor, which is much more enlarged than previous versions of it, in the lower portion of the center grille there. So revised grills, so bigger. Then we got probably the most controversial thing about this car is the split headlights. So you have your running lights up top here, LEDs, and then LEDs for the headlights. So no longer laser lights, those aren't available. They weren't available on the 40i anyway for a couple of years. But that's what it looks like. So sort of like a hidden design. We haven't gotten a darker color car in yet, so I'm curious to see what that looks like on the new X7. So very similar to the M Sport, just different highlights and different sort of inlets there. So basically a brushed aluminum, maybe not quite chrome look to the front fascia. So moving over the side, we've got our 22-inch wheels. These are style 7 5/6 wheels. Bicolor, looks to be orbit gray, as well as sort of chrome or silver, what do you want to think about. So non-painted calipers, but these actually look like decent calipers, just basically unpainted M Sport calipers. And Skyscraper Grey, so new to the X7. It's also on a number of other cars, including, of course, the new 3 Series, the 5 Series, 4 Series. I don't think on the 2 Series. So basically that's about it. I think maybe the X1 now. But side profile looks very similar to last year's model. Out back we have a revised rear as well as the tail lights. So pretty decent looking, kind of like also a split tail light design here too, with this chrome thing, which is not a light bar, going through the middle of the two red taillight portions there. All right, here's our Skyscraper Grey, which I think some have described as bluestone without the blue in it. Maybe that's correct. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think we have a bluestone out over here. But sort of like a silvery gray effect going on here. But let's take a look at the inside and go over the changes there, as well as pricing and options on this particular build. So opening up, we are greeted with, I believe it's going to be extended black merino leather. So Harman Kardon sound system. And of course, iDrive 8 and a full leather dashboard as well. And we got our revised center console area with our nub for a shifter. So here is what leather seats look like, because we've had SensaFin. I think we had SensaFin on. Maybe that was on the X5, but eventually we'll have SensaFin as well. They're pretty good looking seats. Of course, can be quite comfortable as well. All right, so obviously the big change here is going to be iDrive 8. So of course, debuted on the i4 and the iX, and now making its way across the lineup. So introduced on the 3 Series LCI as well as the 2 Series Coupe, strangely enough, after 1 year of production on that one. All right, so this is the comfort setting. Now, obviously one of the things, again, sorry it's a little bit light outside, but this is the X7 logo on the ambient lighting on the dashboard. So in comfort mode, it's going to mimic what's there, sort of like a lightish brown. And if you go to Eco Pro, you see that goes to blue. This will also go to blue. And if we go to sport mode, we've got sort of red highlights there, so this will change to red again. Again, apologies, it's hard to see on a light day here. So next one, this is a customer sold vehicle, so you can't really drive it anywhere for any things going on here. But sport changes your layout here. Here's your comfort setting, as well as Eco Pro. So change the layout a little bit. You can change the layout or display the information here using the hamburger button and then going into display and content, etc. So your heads-up display. So you can change the content displayed in there by cycling through different things on there. Not a big deal. Let's go back into sport mode here. Let me change content in here. Let's go to the blank one. So this is not an M Sport model, so you can see we don't have the M emblem up there as well. Other big change, driving assistance package. We talked about this in the last one. You can still turn on the system here and change your modes here. If you want to change like following distance, those buttons are now gone. You have to do that through iDrive 8, which can be quite a handful to deal with, especially on the fly. All right, so other things about climate control. So if you need to change something on where the air is blowing, or even the heated seats or steering wheel, note the heated steering wheel on the X7, you have to turn on over here, so there's no longer a button on the steering wheel, which is obviously strange, but that's where it's going. So you need to change something here. Let me go. All right, let's pretend we're in another sort of area here. In this case, I'm just in media. I want to change something in the climate menu, make my changes. I want to go back to my previous menu. I can use the iDrive controller to push it to the left, or hit the back button here. If I do that, I'm back to where I previously was in the system. So that's a little easier to deal with rather than using your finger to try and get back. Otherwise, you have to go back to home and figure out where you're going, etc. Back into the home system here. All right, let's take a look at the options and pricing. And again, here, your vent controls a little bit, I think, strange going on here. I think a little bit different than the X7 M60. So this is also interesting. So this is the ambient lighting here. All right, so let's talk about pricing. So the X7 xDrive40i starts at $77,850. Paints are all included on this model here. Black extended marine leather, another $1,950. The driving assistance professional package, another $1,700. Parking assistance package gets you another price increase of $900, so it's a little bit higher than before. Premium package for $1,850, but you also get the parking assistance professional. Be sure to try and demonstrate what's going on there on a model that is not customer sold. Premium package for $1,850 gets you the Harman Kardon surround sound system, so not a separate option. But you can select Bowers and Wilkins if you wanted to on the X7 xDrive40i. The wheels, another $1,300. Glass controls for $650. $900 for the leather dashboard. All told, for this particular example, $88,095 for the MSRP. All right, so trim-wise, it's the fine line brown wood trim, which looks pretty classy on here. A little hard to distinguish with the dark interior, but still overall pretty classy. You get lots of trim on the center console here. So cup holders are covered all around the center console area in fine line wood trim. So pretty good. We'll take a look at the back seat as well. So obviously I don't have a ton of time on this X7 here, but I'll have a more in-depth review on one that is not customer sold in the xDrive40i version. So if you got questions about how things are working in iDrive 8 or the X7 in particular, drop in the comments and I'll be sure to address them in a future video. Okay, so back seat, we have our bench seating. So we have room for 7 people on here. So pretty good layout. So nothing too drastic in terms of interior stuff that's different in the back seats. We've got our second row or second zone, probably technically third and fourth zone. All right, so access the third row, pressing this button here will enable you to get into the back seat. All right, so this customer did not opt for the 5th zone climate control, so this is what it looks like without the 5th zone for the absolute rear passengers, so no climate controls back here for these particular passengers. We do have our trim here in wood, fine line wood grain, I think, trim. So I think that's changed a little bit from previous versions. All right, so the other thing I know many of you have already noticed is that the comfort access, at least for the touching, is only available on the front doors. Previous model year had controls back here at the rear, so you can't go for the rear door without unlocking it this way. So I think the way around that is going to be Comfort Access 2.0, or using your iPhone as the key, using the ultra wideband technology, which is available on the X7 LCI. So kicked open on the X7. Go off to change some settings in the back here to get the lower portion to move. But with a third row up, you don't have a lot of space here in the back. So obviously do the max luggage space and go over here, rear, that will fold down both rows and you get a ton of space. So if you're occasionally hauling things around, perhaps making a trip to Home Depot or Lowe's, you can actually use the X7 here, provided you have the bench seats in the second row, to haul things around. So it's quite an impressive cargo area with both rows folded down. It's obviously really, really good. We'll be back to max passenger. And have the magic happen electronically, and then we'll close up this and walk around our X7 in Skyscraper Grey once more. All right, we can probably just do kick to close. So kick it close back. Take one more walk around the X7. You can hear it's really, really super quiet. This does have the mild hybrid system, just like the pre-LCI version, which has made its way now to the M60. But that's about it for a little more in-depth walk around the X7 xDrive40i. See you at the next video.